Have you ever told yourself, I'll do it tomorrow? We all have. We keep pushing our dreams, our happiness, our life to a tomorrow that never seems to come. We say, I'll call them tomorrow, I'll take a break tomorrow, I'll start living tomorrow. But what if tomorrow never arrives? What if, one day, you realize that the moments you were saving for later have quietly slipped away? This is the story of Rohit, but in many ways, it's the story of all of us. Rohit was a man with big dreams. He came from a small town with a heart full of hope and a promise to make his parents proud. He worked hard, studied late nights, and finally landed a job at a top multinational company in a big city. For the first time, life seemed to reward his effort. The salary was good, the office was modern, and people began to respect him. He called his parents, his voice filled with joy. "Ma, Papa, we did it," he said. His father smiled on the phone. "We always knew you would, Beta." Rohit felt proud. That moment was everything he had dreamed of, but slowly, that dream began to change. Days turned into nights, filled with emails, reports, and deadlines. Rohit was always busy, meetings in the morning, calls in the evening, and travel on weekends. He told himself, "I'm doing this for my family, for their future." He believed that once he achieved enough success, he'd finally have time to live, but that time never came. His daughter would wait for him by the window every evening, holding a small drawing she made for him. Some nights she'd fall asleep on the couch, still waiting, the drawing slipping from her tiny hands. His wife would set the dinner table every night, but she'd eat alone, leaving his plate covered for when he returned. And his parents would call him every Sunday, asking softly, "How are you, Beta?" He would reply, "I'm fine, just a little busy. I'll visit soon." But that soon stretched into months, and months turned into years. Rohit was chasing success, and success was running faster than time. He started missing birthdays, anniversaries, family gatherings, all for meetings that never really ended. He began to forget what his daughter's laughter sounded like. He stopped noticing the little joys, the smell of home-cooked food, the sound of rain, the comfort of quiet evenings in the mirror. He saw success, but behind his smile, he could see emptiness. He had everything he once prayed for: money, position, recognition, but something inside him was fading. Then one day, life decided to pause him. Rohit was on a business trip when his phone rang. It was his younger brother. His voice trembled as he said, "Papa isn't well. You need to come home." Rohit promised he'd be there the next morning. But that night, his father quietly passed away. The next day, when Rohit reached home, the rituals were already over. He stood there, frozen, staring at his father's photograph, covered in flowers. Everything around him blurred, the sound of people, the noise of the world. All he could hear was silence, the kind of silence that breaks your heart. For the first time, his success felt meaningless. All the flights he took, all the meetings he attended, all the nights he stayed awake, none of it could bring back the time he had lost that night. He sat alone in his old room, surrounded by memories. On the table, he found an old letter his father had once written to him. It read, "Don't forget to live, my son. Work hard, but remember, time spent with loved ones is never wasted." Rohit held that letter close to his chest. Tears rolled down his face, not from guilt, but from realization. He had been running after life for so long that he had forgotten to live it. As the night grew silent, he whispered to himself, "Tomorrow, I'll change everything." But deep down, he knew tomorrow was no longer a promise. The next morning, Rohit woke up before sunrise. The world outside was still quiet, the sky painted in soft shades of gold. He hadn't seen a sunrise in years. For the first time, he just stood there, breathing, watching, feeling alive. Something inside him shifted that morning. He realized that he couldn't change the time he had lost, but he could choose how to live the time that was left. Rohit walked to the kitchen where his mother was making tea. She looked at him with tired eyes but still smiled. "You're awake early today," he smiled back. "I don't want to miss another morning, Ma." That day, he made a decision. He resigned from his high-paying job, the same job that had taken so much from him. His colleagues were shocked. They asked, "Why would you leave such a successful career?" Rohit simply replied, "Because I want to succeed in living, not just in earning." He moved back to his hometown with his family. The air was cleaner, the days were slower, and the smiles were real. At first, it felt strange. No buzzing notifications, no endless emails, no late-night calls. But slowly, peace began to replace pressure. He started walking his daughter to school every morning. She would hold his hand tightly, telling him about her friends and teachers. He listened, really listened, and every word she spoke became a new memory in his heart. In the evenings, he helped his wife cook. They laughed about old days, shared silly jokes, and rediscovered what love felt like without distraction. On weekends, he took his mother to the temple and visited the same tea stall where he used to sit with his father years ago. The shop owner recognized him and said, "You've changed, Rohit." He smiled and replied, "I finally learned what matters." Rohit began doing freelance work from home, not for ambition, but for balance. He spent time painting, reading, and taking long walks in the park where he once used to run late for meetings. He wasn't chasing time anymore. He was living with it. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, his daughter asked him, "Papa, why do you watch the sunset every day?" He smiled softly, "Because it reminds me that endings can also be beautiful." Months passed, and Rohit's life transformed completely. He wasn't the same man who once measured success in money or status. Now, he measured it in moments, a shared laugh, a peaceful meal, a quiet morning. Then one day, as he was cleaning his drawer, he found his father's letter again. He read it slowly, word by word, and whispered, "Thank you, Papa. I finally understand." He sat by the window that evening, watching the rain fall, the sound of his daughter's laughter echoing in the background. For the first time in years, his heart was at peace, and as he watched the drops slide down the glass, he realized something. Life was never about waiting for the right time. It was about making time right now. So, my friend, this story isn't just about Rohit. It's about you. It's about all of us who keep waiting for a perfect tomorrow. We tell ourselves that one day we'll take that trip, chase that dream, or call that person we miss. But one day becomes another, and life quietly slips through our fingers. The truth is, you don't need more time. You just need to start using the time you already have. Call the person you've been missing. Sit with your parents without looking at your phone. Watch the sunset with someone you love. Laugh louder, breathe deeper, live slower. Because moments like these are what life is made of. Don't wait for a diagnosis, a loss, or a wake-up call to start living. Start today. Start now, because life isn't waiting, it's happening. Remember this: time is not your enemy. It's your greatest gift. Don't waste it thinking it will last forever. And if this story touched your heart, share it with someone you care about. Maybe it's the reminder they've been waiting for. I'll see you in the next story. Until then, stay safe, stay happy, and keep moving forward. Because the best time to live is now.